Hello and welcome. My name is Zafar Iqbal, and you're watching the Mojo story. A big news story today. The Bombay High Court has granted bail to Aryan Khan, son of Bollywood star Shah Rukh Khan, 3 weeks after he was arrested in connection with a drug bust on a cruise ship. Now, bail has also been granted to co-accused Arbaz merchant and Munmun. The NCB had said that Aryan Khan is not a first-hand consumer but a regular consumer of drugs for the last 2 years. It was also pointed out that Aryan was found in conscious possession of contraband. Now, all those things were happening today. We've been seeing this suspense over all these days, and today the bail has been granted to Arbaz Khan and to others. Senior advocate and former Attorney General Mohit Rohitki, appearing on behalf of Aryan, had concluded that Aryan's arrest was arbitrary. We'll discuss this issue today, and we have got an eminent panel with us to discuss this. We have with us Gautam Mengle, who's an author and a journalist, PKD Nambiar, political analyst, Meeran Borwankar, former police commissioner Pune, and Mrunalini Deshmukh, who's a lawyer. So let me, if I can, start with you, Gautam. We've been seeing this case really for the last so many days. I would like to first focus on the role of media. How has media really covered this event? Do you think that the entire focus was on this case just because Aryan happened to be the son of Shah Rukh Khan?
Definitely, yes, I would say it was because it is a big name. He's a son of a international superstar, and if you notice, sir, there hasn't been enough focus or equal amount of focus on Arbaz Merchant or Munmun Dhamecha or all the others who were also arrested along with Aryan. And Aryan Khan remained the main focus of this case because it is, like it or not, it is something that the people also want to read about, to know about. So yes, the main focus of coverage in this entire matter has been Aryan Khan for sure.
Has really gone over the board. Obviously, this is not the first such cases. Such cases do surface every now and then, but since he is the son of a superstar, so obviously there was more focus on that. But I would also want to take it to Mrunalini Deshmukh. What are your first sort of a reaction after you heard that the bail has been granted to Aryan and two accused?
Good evening. Thank you for having me on your show, and I'm delighted to be a part of this panel. I
Yes.
think it was quite sort of expected in the High Court, because in the High Court, as you see in most of the matters which are there, they know that bail is a norm and jail is an exception that has been laid down in various judgments of the Supreme Court also. And to put someone behind bar for the purposes of custodial interrogation, one can understand. But that custodial interrogation just cannot go on endlessly. It has to be there for some time. Just because you're not able to crack what you're looking at, you cannot pose a threat to the liberty and the freedom that the person who is accused, let's call him accused for the lack of better word, keep him endlessly for such a long time. Now, 3rd of October was when the arrest was made. Now, at the time when the arrest was made, and I think we'll have a detailed order of Justice Sambre of the Bombay High Court by tomorrow, as today he has just said that he's giving the operative part of the order, and the detailed order will come later, where they would reason out. And I'm sure this, knowing Justice Sambre and the way he has been giving orders, it will be an exceedingly well reasoned out order supporting the claim that, of course, the drug menace has to be dealt with. Of course, it has to be dealt with in a manner which will eradicate, hopefully, and we have a drug free country, is what my prayer and hope will be. But this cannot be achieved only by arresting, and especially the celebs or celebrities or their children, and getting this done at an endless thing. Once they were caught on the cruise when they were going, I think 4 to 5 days is enough for somebody, investigating officer, to be able to crack down whatever they want to that extent. Or they could have also continued that, but to keep someone from the 6th of or the 3rd of October, today we are on the 29th, 28th, 29th of October, and for something where there has not even been prima facie admission of consumption, let apart sort of, being a carrier or what these things were there. I think the High Court may have gone into all these details. The lower courts were impressed by the NCB's arguments that they needed for more verification. The WhatsApp chats are going to lead to better leads, and they will be able to get hold of the peddlers or the dealers, and to be able to tackle the problem. To that extent, also those judgments, to that extent, to part of it was right. But then I think it was much beyond, and it was to keep somebody for these kind of things for nearly a month now, if I may say so, was something which is not there. And as you all must be knowing, that Arnab Goswami's judgment with the Supreme Court has laid down the law. It's not about Arnab Goswami, but it is about what the court has held in its judgment, is what is the importance of giving the freedom and the right to privacy and the freedom of movement, and why should the arrest be done only under super exceptional circumstances. The Supreme Court has laid down it in a very, very succinct manner, and I'm sure to some extent, I have not read, of course the High Court order is not out, but I'm sure the High Court could have been sort of, impressed or been influenced, and obviously it was they have set a trend to be able to give freedom to these three. I think it was long due, overdue, and keeping them for such a long time, I would not say was a appropriate thing. But yes, investigation is necessary. How much and for how long? There has to be some semblance of sanity and some semblance of logic in that, is what I feel.
Not perhaps the right thing. That's if I take this point to Meeran Borwankar, what are your views about this? The accused has been kept for so many days. Do you think there was an issue here, since he belonged to he was the son of a superstar, and that's perhaps the reason there's so much of a media focus and attention on this case. If you can unmute.
I agree that the media attention and focus for so long on this case was due to the celebrity family children being involved. Uh, Definitely so. But when he was in custody, I would like the audience to understand that NCB or any law enforcement agency can arrest you and keep you only for 24 hours. After that, we have to present the case before a magistrate. In this case, there is a special court for NDPS Act. So the NCB presents its case that there is a conspiracy, that this particular cruise was meant to be a kind of drug rave party. And these are the people who were found in actual possession of drugs. And these are the people who were part of the conspiracy. But and Narcotics Crime Bureau has no role whatsoever in keeping the persons in custody without consent of the magistrate. So, as a police officer or as a NCB officer, I will present my case. The defense, even at the bail stage, has full right to present its own case. Now, it is the judicial discretion whether to agree with the law enforcement agency or with the defense. In this particular case, the Narcotics Crime Bureau was able to justify not only the arrest but also their request seeking custodial interrogation of the accused. So, one, the audience must understand the limited role which investigating agencies play, and then the role of the judicial officers in agreeing or disagreeing with our contention, where defense lawyers get full opportunity to present this case, which was also in the lower NDPS special court and also in the higher court. That's the High Court, Bombay.
Okay, if I can take it to PKD, you are a political analyst. How do you see this case really over the last few days? Do you also sense that there is some sort of a tug of war between the center and the state? Of course, the NCB controlled by the center, and we've seen reactions from Shiv Sena, from Maharashtra. What is your assessment?
Well, my assessment is simply this, that today, when 7 or 8 or 9 youths have got the bail, they will be moving back to their own houses. It's a very well relieved, and bail should not be the first way to put anybody inside. That should not be the norm. The norm should be norm should be the bail, not the jail. But
Yeah,
on the other side, if you really look at it, nobody, either neither me nor anybody in the panel from the last few days, almost every media is doing a trial wherein most of them are saying that Aryan Khan is an absolutely and a wonderful person, wonderful boy. He should be going to a rehab. Why going to jail if at all if he has consumed?
yeah,
And whereas I don't think it has been consumed or whatever it may be, Shah Rukh Khan is a superstar. My worry
mm,
is not about Aryan Khan. The way the people of this country, the liberal and so-called modern people, are being divided or fighting for an Aryan Khan. There are thousands of similar cases do take place in India every day. As as young as 18 years, 17 years, and 15 years, to that a country like of such a large population, where there are so many child trafficking,
yeah.
narcotic cases are taking place. Every 23-year-old do not have a father like a superstar like Shah Rukh Khan. So
But then this
they
case
will
have
not
got
be
so much
able to.
attention.
No, no, coming to that. Now, for an
Yeah,
example, as the way I said that every child cannot have a superstar father, so as every father cannot hire a Mohul Rotogi kind of a former attorney general, a kind of lawyers to fight for you. So I think there are uh, the judiciary should be kept completely independently. We all have the right to criticize, as the former police officer said, that in this
yeah,
case, I think the media was completely biased and against the agencies and working only and only for the Aryan Khan. And I would only say that you are a very senior journalist. The people like you should take one stand. That is, there is one constitution in this country. The
yeah.
law, whether it is for a superstar, there is no separate law. Where the rich businessman, there is not separate law. Everybody should be given the similar kind of a fairness. Everybody be given the similar kind of an opportunity to fight in the courts and get the bail. I have nothing against Aryan Khan. Maybe it may be a very norm for the big people in the big society to have some kind of maybe it may be a routine for them to be as a part of their celebration to have or keep it in the shoes or wherever it may be. But please understand, we are a poor country even today. Millions and millions of people still starve. The discussion should not be Aryan Khan on prime time televisions. The discussion should be of those who have not been given bail in the courts. They don't have even a single lawyer to fight for them, but still in the jails, in thousands, some thousands of them, who is still in the jail, not even for an opportunity to even fight their cases. But there is not even a single voice. सफर भाई, एक आवाज भी कहीं से आपको कभी सुनाई दिया है? बिल्कुल नहीं सुनाई दिया. आपको आर्यन खान का पड़ा है, आपको मर्चेंट का पड़ा हुआ है, आपका बाकी सबका पड़ा हुआ है. उसके आपको उसके चेहरे के आपका हर तरह का फीलिंग्स आप समझ रहे हैं. शाहरुख खान का और गौरी खान का आप माँ बाप का दर्द समझ रहे. क्या बाकी कोई लोग माँ बाप नहीं है? उनका बच्चे क्या बाकी लोगों इनसे अलग है? I think we need to be fair. The fairness in this case is that, like Aryan Khan should be given justice. Every kid who is in the jail on these similar cases, the Supreme Court should come out on its own and say that every kid who has similar cases, all of them should be given bail. They should all be uh, uh, given a way out of the jail. That is my initial comment, Zafar bhai.
Okay. Gautam, everybody should be same before the law, and justice should be applied to all. What do you say? Obviously, we've also been hearing that he should be sent to some rehab center, not the jail. Those are also statements that we've been seeing in the past. What's your sense?
Sir, I do agree with the ideal that everybody should be equal in front of the law. But we also need to wake up to the fact that it's not always so in terms of public attention or media attention. Because if we as journalists are going to be covering stories year after year about how thousands of people gather outside Mannat every year to just get a glimpse of Shah Rukh Khan, it automatically follows that his son being arrested by the country's apex agency for drug law enforcement for possession of 6 grams of charas in his friend's shoe is going to get massive media attention because, like I said, even the people will want to know. 25 days down the line, we hardly have any idea about who Munmun Dhamecha or Arbaz Merchant really are, but everybody knows who Aryan Khan is. So, if we as journalists are maybe going overboard with the coverage, is also because there are people out there who want to know what happened. And secondly, if I may point out, sir, this is not the first alleged rave party busted in Mumbai. There was one busted by the Mumbai police in 2008 and then one in 2011, where a lot of celebrities or celebrity kids were also detained at the time. There were children of TV actors, there were TV actors themselves, there were children of cricketers, well known cricketers. And we cannot ignore the stark differences that we observed back then, where all those who were suspected of consumption were first taken to a hospital, their blood and urine samples were taken, and they were released and then given a choice between rehab or arrest. While here, where not even his blood or urine samples were taken in Aryan Khan's case, or any recovery was shown directly from his possession, and he still has been in jail for 25 days. Plus, we have a Nawab Malik making daily, call them revelations or call them claims, but there is so much fuel for attention that we as journalists cannot ignore them. And if everybody is equal in front of the law and if everybody should be treated like an accused the way that they are, in this month itself, the Mumbai police alone, let's not go into a national perspective, the Mumbai police alone have made two big significant seizures of drugs. One was heroin, which was worth 21 crores. I didn't see any hashtags trending against any of the accused who were arrested in those cases. So it's not just the journalists who decide who gets attention, who does not. It is also the people.
You raised an important point. I would want to take it to Meeran Borwankar. Proper procedures were not applied. He was mentioning about the urine test, the blood test. Do you think that has been the case here, that it's not been done properly?
About the blood test and urine test, if I were the IO or I was the supervisory officer, I would have gone in for those. Yes.
Yeah.
But I would not like to comment about the quality of investigation at this stage. But these two tests, yes. And also, one of the panelists talked of under trials being in the prison and we taking up only this particular
Yeah.
case. Yes, that's a huge issue. In prisons today, 70% of the inmates are under trials. And yes, I totally agree that we should also take up their cases. But the esteemed panelists, talked of Supreme Court intervention. I would very strongly recommend to our audience and to the panelists, why are we depending so much on one particular institution? We should build up Narcotics Crime Bureau, investigating agencies of state police as well as of central investigating agencies, and also train our own judicial officers. So,
But people
two
do
facts.
tend to lose faith. People do tend to lose faith in institutions, and then they look up to Supreme Court. They say that finally perhaps we'll get justice there, because in other cases it's not so perfect. If we look at this case only, you will see that it was not. There were a lot of imperfections also.
So I would invest in training of police officers, in training of narcotic crime bureau officers, in training of judicial officers, and also having combined training for law enforcing agencies and forensic sciences and judicial officers. So in the long term, audience citizen should invest in each institution and not rely only on very few selected ones. That's the point I'm trying to make. And yes, 70% under trials being the inmates in prisons is a very serious issue. We should have only convicts and maybe 10 to 15% of under trials in prisons.
What is your view, Mrunalini? Only 10 to 15% of under trials in prison. Do you think that's a fair proposition in our country?
So I think what Meeraji was saying, I tend to agree with her that, and what Mr. Nambiar was also saying, it's a very very crucial point. In fact, in one of your programs itself, which was there, I think last week, I had said the same thing, that there are two things that we need to understand. That yes, Aryan Khan is getting all the attention because of the celebrity status that he carries. But I think the issue is larger. The issue is a drug menace, which is a larger thing, and which I personally feel that it should be flushed out from our country if possible. Maybe it's a very idealistic way of looking at it, but this drug menace should be flushed out. And secondly, and more importantly, I had said it in your program itself, that when we're talking about access to justice, what happens to those who have no access to justice? What happens to those under trials who don't even know what it looks outside the dark, gloomy place of a jail, because they do not know whom to meet, they don't have the money, then they don't have access to it. Now, in fact, I had also said, and I repeat here at in your program once again, that fortunately we have at the helm of the affair the Chief Justice of India, and who himself has been a very hardcore activist in his young days before he became a judge, where he believed in the freedom and the liberty which is to be given, because he said that is sacrosanct and that cannot be really taken away, except under exceptional circumstances. So today we are happy to see again, but I agree that it is the highest court which is doing it. We are happy to see that so many of these cases of the under trials which have reached the Supreme Court have got a lot of relief, and that's a fact that you have to take. But surely, more needs to be done to be able to get these under trials access to justice and getting out of it. And even after getting out and getting a bail and getting out of it, how many of these under trials would have access to rehabs? Today, an Aryan Khan and to the two other people, their parents or whoever it is, will surely do the best for the child, because every parent wants his child to be a good child and be. They may put him to a rehab. That's their own decision. But these under trials who come out, they do not have access to the rehabs, because unfortunately today the rehabs are also over full, and there is no place. This is the main problem. Drugs need to be rooted out from its very inception. The Baaki ka jo hai, these are all things that we need to be done. But if we are able to get rid of this bigger menace, which is the drug menace, probably the rest of the things may fall in place in a better manner. So sometimes I am with the narcotics bureaus of passion and determination to get rid of this drug menace in the country and do it on a war footing. I think I salute these people who want to do it. Something is missing between their intention and passion and the way things are done. So there's something amiss between that, and that is why it creates a lot of issues. Fortunately for us, an Aryan Khan, we had this Fardeen Khan some time back, Feroz Khan's son also, who was also in a similar position where the High Court had given him bail after we went through all those processes. But this has highlighted once again the drug menace, and has also highlighted how we need to get to the root of the problem so that the rest of the things don't happen. I really want my India to be drug free if it is possible. But if that is not, that is going to be a utopian idea, then at least those who are now languishing in jails should get access. And I completely agree with Mr. Nambiar. And Mr. Nambiar, between you and me, you are more powerful to be able to canvass this. I'm just a lawyer, but you're more powerful and you're in a position to canvass this to the higher ups, to the executive, and to the legislation, to bring about something which, as Ma'am Borwankar also said, sensitization of the judges and training to the people to understand the issues in a different manner rather than just go by the letter of the law. So I think you have better access. I'm willing to help you, but let's do something about it and use this platform to really, as said, to do something for these under trials. Really, by heart.
PKD, PKD, you must tell us that if you have any concrete ideas. You said that everybody should be, same in front of the law. But under trials, the rehabilitation, as she was pointing out, you have more access. Do you think there are some concrete things that can be done? See, it's a big menace. I can tell you about Jammu and Kashmir. There are so many people who got involved in this menace, and every day we see those reports. It's a big problem in the society.
Absolutely. There is one of these challenges. Some of these challenges are inherited. It does not, it's not from the last few years or 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 years. Now it has been an inherited challenge which we have. We require judicial reforms. We require police reforms. We require bureaucratic reforms. And all of them come together. Then only maybe we may be able to reach to the ideal situation. If not the 15, 20, at least I would say that our jail inmates should be the 30 should be under trials and the rest of them should be the convicted. So the moment we reach to the, instead of 70-30 today, the moment we reach to the 30-70, I'm there that we will be, at least can call ourselves as a futuristic society or a progressive society or a society of a true democracy. Now, my challenge with regard to the Aryan Khan case is that in multiple channels from the last so many days, of course, I also have joined in many places. It is not about, I have nothing against Aryan Khan. I have nothing against Shah Rukh Khan. I have nothing against all those boys, which I don't know them personally. But the challenge is that today, what we are making out is that all these 7 kids, or especially with the lead from Aryan Khan, which may not be even true, but at least to the media, it is Aryan Khan led program. And the rest of the people, they now you may not be even able to take the name of all the 7-8 people, despite you are conducting a show on that particular show. But the challenge is that you are making an NCB, and the NCB officers are villain. Whether they are villain or not, that is something like, it is already a sub judice matter. But a media trial has already been done. The NCB director is a villain, and Aryan Khan is a hero. All these kids are hero. They may had, they may not have had, or they may were having it in the possession. Everybody is wrong in the entire ecosystem of this related to this particular case, including to the trial court. The only thing who is the real hero is Aryan Khan. See the kind of tweet which is coming from various celebrities, various politicians, and so on and so forth. Why this way? Why this kind of an empathy? Why this kind of a प्यार उम्र के क्यों नहीं आते बाकी बच्चों के लिए? मुझे वहां पे तकलीफ है सफर भाई, आपसे तकलीफ है, मुझे हर मीडिया कर्मी है जो आर्यन खान का केस के लिए इतना ज्यादा टाइम दे रहा है, प्राइम टाइम दे रहा है.
We've been trying to conduct a fair discussion with
no,
all
I'm with you. I would say that it is by far one of the best discussion I had with related to the Aryan Khan case in the last 24 days. But one thing I must tell you, I think we all, I mean, as a civil society, needs to come out of this particular shell. The people who have power, people who have money, the people who can buy or a hire is not the word I would say, buy a senior most professional lawyer can turn around a particular case. Whether it is right or wrong, the time will come. I think we as a country has not progressed. We are still not living in the 2021 when there is no equality. Till the time that equality is not there, Zafar bhai, we will only have our discussions, and anguish and anger will only be shown on television places where you get an opportunity, because it's you, we got an opportunity to speak. In many other channels, you don't even get an opportunity to speak. I think this is very sad. And I'm with all of the panelists that the day we have reached to the 30-70 is the day we are there. Till that time, sorry, we are not there. And I am for Aryan Khan. He got a bail as an young kid. I hope he and his other friends will turn out to be a good citizens. Maybe they can be the champion of anti-drug movement in India. But what we are doing to our police forces, to our officers, demoralizing them while at the cost of making somebody a hero, demoralizing my officers are a crime which we as a society will have to pay for the longest of time.
You know, Mrunalini would want to come in here, but before that, I would want to play that the bite of Bukul Rohatgi just before we get you in.
ने बेल दिया है, पक्का डिटेल्ड ऑर्डर कल मिलेगा और मुझे उम्मीद है कि ये तीनों अक्यूज जो है ये कल या शनिचर तक बाहर आ जाए.
Yeah, Mrunalini, last word to you. Obviously, you wanted to come in. I would also want to have this question to you: that how do you see the case proceeding here on? You can start.
Yes, I think what Mr. Nambiar made a very important point, and I wanted to share my thoughts on this. See, the Narcotics Bureau and their investigating officers are doing their duty to the best of their ability in the given set of circumstances. It is, of course, the media hype also that puts them into a limelight, which otherwise they're dealing with these cases even otherwise. It doesn't have to be Aryan Khan, it could be X, Y, Z. But why is the media putting all the focus? Because he's a celebrity. But now, when an investigating officer and some celebrated officer like Mr. Wankhede, who is doing this, to have this personal vilification against him, to have these kind of allegations against him, I think it's unheard of. Tomorrow, you are going to make allegations against the judges, you are going to make allegations against the investigating officers, you are going to get personal into their life, you are going to get into their bedrooms, you are going to get into their religion, you are going to get into their posting. I mean, is that the issue? The issue, why are you sidelining the issue of a drug menace? Why not? Why can we not look at issues in a manner which are affecting the society at large rather than targeting any of these? I'm not for an officer or I'm not for a judge, but these are the people who are trying to get rid of a bigger menace. Let's look at the bigger menace. Let's give support to the entire system, including a very rehabilitative efforts or sort of support to those four accused in this case and millions of others who are otherwise there. हमको ये देखना चाहिए ना कि वो किसी की जात क्या है, किसी की शादी क्या है, किसी के बेडरूम में क्या हो रहा है. I mean, let's not
Yeah,
reduce ourselves to this. Let's be
yeah,
responsible, matured citizens dealing with larger issues, and I think even the media can help to bring about
yeah.
this awareness. And let's deal with the issues and not with individuals.
Yeah, I think this is a good point to wrap up our discussion. All of us do agree that drug menace is a big problem in our country, and all of us have to deal with it and take it very seriously. Thanks to all our panelists for joining us tonight. That was our show. Thanks for watching.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalists.